In today's video, we are doing a full face of e.l.f. cosmetics, super affordable. I don't really know if there's a more affordable brand on the market, and I'm really excited about this look because I love the way that it came out, and overall, I really enjoyed all of the products that I used. So stick around, watch the entire video. It's a long one. Grab a cup of coffee, a tea, and let's get started. All right, you guys, let's get started. Super excited about this. I have so many products in front of me, and we are just going to test and try them all. So we're going to be applying quite a bit of makeup in today's video, just for the simple sake of testing, applying, talking, chatting, catching up, having fun with makeup. So all I have on my skin right now is my tinted SPF. You guys know my favorite. It's actually, I need a new bottle. This is the Elastin Hydra Tint. So that's all I have on my skin. I did fill in my brows a little bit, but we're gonna go and touch those up. So let's go ahead and start with, what do I have here? Let me show you all the complexion products I have, and I think we might have tried them all. So I've got the e.l.f. Halo Glow. I have the Soft Glam Satin Foundation. This is the newer foundation that e.l.f. recently launched. I've worn this once or twice, and honestly, I cannot remember my thoughts on it. I think I liked it, but we're gonna try it out today. I have the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and I have the Halo Glow Setting Powder. I think that's all I have for like the complexion, aside from bronzer and blush, which we'll dive into. But let's get started. I'm gonna start first by highlighting the face. We're gonna go in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow, and we're just gonna add a little bit of a glow. This is a beautiful, lovely product. This has been compared to the Charlotte Tilbury, what is it, the Flawless Filter? And honestly, you guys, it is very, very similar. You can apply this product in many, many ways. I'm just actually gonna kind of use it to highlight, and it's going to be a soft highlight because we're going to put foundation on top of this. If you wanted a stronger highlight from this product, you could always do what I'm doing after you've applied foundation. You can also mix this in with a moisturizer. You can mix it in with a foundation, and you're just going to get different results. This is probably the most subtle way to wear it. I'm going to go in with my Nikki LaRose BK Beauty N17, and we are just going to kind of softly blend and work this product into the skin. I'm just gonna blend it until it is blended into the skin, and then I'm gonna stop. I don't wanna over blend this, because if you over blend products, you can kind of lose the impact of them. And since I am applying foundation on top of this, remember, it's already gonna be pretty subtle. So I'm just highlighting the high planes of my face. If a light were hitting my face, which one actually is, because I got this big light in front of me, that's where I'm highlighting, where the light is hitting the face. And by the way, you guys, I am the shade 3, light medium, in the Halo Glow. What's great about the N17 brush, if you didn't already know, this is a dual-sided brush, so you have different types of fiber. This fiber is really great for like your cream and your liquid products. This fiber on the other side is really great for your powder products. So it's truly like, I mean, I will say all of BK Beauty brushes are multitasking, but this is like one of the most multitasking brushes that we make. I love, love, love it. You can do an entire complexion with this brush. In fact, maybe we should. Let's do it, right? Okay, moving along to foundation. Let's go in with the e.l.f. Soft Glam, and I got the shade Medium Neutral 31. I think, if I remember correctly, it's a little too dark for me. That's why I wore it maybe once or twice, but I never went really back for it because the shade was a little off. But you know what? We will just work with it, you guys. The concealer that I'm going to be using is a little lighter, so we'll kind of balance it out. I'm going to use the same brush, the N17, and this consistency is nice. It's a little bit on the thicker side, but not heavy. Let's see, what does this foundation say? Medium buildable coverage, long lasting. I like medium coverage. I like when a product's buildable. I'm gonna start in the center of the face, and I'm just gonna use the N17 and kind of press the product into the skin. Okay, this is actually blending into my skin perfectly. It kind of is the perfect color, actually. Maybe I was lighter when I bought this and tried it the first time, because right now it is kind of the perfect match for me. Now, when you're trying to get the most coverage from a foundation with this brush, just do the kind of motion that I'm doing, where I'm just like tapping and pressing into the skin. Once I get out here to the jawline, then I'm going to do large strokes like this. This is just really blending and shearing out, and just ensuring that I don't have too much makeup right here on the jawline, okay? Because we don't want an obvious line where the makeup stops. Maybe this foundation oxidized and got a little darker. There was something off about it when it came to the color, I remember, but as I say that now, it actually looks like a perfect match. I usually like to go a little bit lighter in my foundation because I do the bronzer and the blush and everything, and if I go with a foundation that is maybe my shade or just slightly darker, by the time I add everything else, it's just too dark, and I think that was the case with this. You also want to think about the first place that you put your brush is the first place you're going to deposit the most product. So If you have more discoloration or things that need coverage, start there and then work your way out here, because by the time you get out here, you don't have a whole lot of product left on the brush. Always start where you need the most product payoff, whether that is with foundation or it's with eyeshadow. Always think about that. Okay, this finish is really nice. It's very like satiny and glowy. Looks really beautiful. The halo glow underneath is also helping just kind of give that lit from within glow peeking through the foundation. It's really nice. This foundation is just blending in so beautifully. Have you tried this foundation? If you've tried this, I'm sure many of you have. Will you drop a comment down below and give us your thoughts on it and your take? I always love when you guys share your experience, even if it's different from mine. Even if you're like, Lisa, I don't agree with you. I think what you just said is baloney because my experience is XYZ. Say it. I love to hear that. And I think it's really helpful because, you know, when it comes to foundations, concealers, primers, they're all so dependent on our skin type and our skin concerns. How much texture do we have? Are we dry? Are we oily? Are we prone to breakout? Are we sensitive? All those things. So something that I might love might not be great for you. And it's really good to, I think, hear everyone's perspective. My skin type at the moment, I would say, is leaning a bit more dry. I live in Texas, so it's really hot and really humid there. For those reasons, I'm always looking for more natural matte products because I don't want to look greasy or shiny, you know, when I step outside. But my true skin is leaning a little more dry, and I think that's because of my age. I'm 41, and my skin's changing. It's different than it was even 5 years ago, even 3 years ago. So I would say I'm normal, not extremely dry, but definitely not oily these days. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I could spend so much time blending. I think that is one of my biggest tips as a makeup artist is to just really take your time. And even when the product looks like blended into the skin, it doesn't hurt to just take your brush and just do that extra little, you know, press, 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 blend, blend, blend. You're also kind of slightly absorbing a little bit of excess product. Even though our brushes don't absorb a lot of product, if you just keep bouncing it, it's going to, if there's any like extra product, it'll slightly remove that. So it's really nice. You can also do it with a sponge too. If you have a heavy full coverage foundation, you want to absorb excess, I would go in with a damp beauty sponge and just press it onto the skin. Okay, you guys, let's move along to concealer. What do we have for concealer? Here you are. Here you are, my friend. This is the E.L.F. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and it has a satin finish. I got the shade Light Sand, and I remember this concealer. It's been a while since I used this, but I do remember enjoying it. I remember it having pretty darn good coverage. I think I compared this to the Tarte Shape Tape. Is that right? It definitely has a large wand and applicator like the Tarte Shape Tape. Okay, so this is a pretty like thick consistency and it's very, very pigmented. So for that reason, I'm gonna try not to apply too much. It actually looks like I have more when I'm looking at myself on camera than I did apply. With concealer, I always recommend, you know, starting with a little bit, blending that out, and then seeing if you need to add more. I'm gonna blend it out with our A506 brush. This is our viral concealer brush. This brush has really introduced BK Beauty to a whole new market. This brush went like viral on TikTok, and it's kind of a lot of people's first entry point into BK Beauty. Now, if you notice, I'm just pressing into the skin. I'm gonna press into the skin until I have this concealer blended out to about, I would say about 90%. Okay, I'm gonna leave it. It's not completely blended out. You can see it's still there. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the other side. I'm gonna kind of let this self-set a little bit and start to work on this side. By letting it self-set slightly, ooh, that's like a tongue twister. By letting it self-set slightly, it allows it to kind of dry down and give it a little more coverage. Something you can't see that I'm doing right now, I have a paper towel in front of you guys with all my products. I'm taking my brush and I'm just running on the paper towel because as I'm working this into the skin, I'm realizing that I applied too much. I applied too much. So whenever you feel like you applied too much, take your brush mid through your blend, swatch it on a towel, paper towel, something nice and gentle to just remove any excess. Okay, now I'm gonna go back over here, kind of clean my brush off, and I'm gonna go back and blend it all out. This concealer is lovely. I have to really commend E.L.F.'s products. When it comes to their makeup products, you guys, they're very high performing. They're fantastic. They have such a huge assortment of products and they're really, really good. Some of us love good packaging. I definitely appreciate a beautiful, beautiful package. There's something about like that experience that it adds to applying your makeup. For me, makeup is more than just something I have to do. It's like a ritual. I really love it. I love buying makeup. I love unboxing makeup. And the packaging adds to that experience. So I definitely appreciate good packaging. But I also appreciate very affordable brands that don't really invest a whole lot in their packaging, but their product formulas are like superb. And I feel like that is what E.L.F. is. Okay, you guys, let's go back and finally blend out this last part of the eye. I'm just taking any excess and kind of running it right here in the inner corner of the eye and on the lid. A lot of us have some like darkness right here in the inner corner of the eye. So you can always take whatever's left over that concealer and run it up. Just be careful not to apply too much concealer on the lid, especially this one, because this is a hydrating concealer. Don't use this as a primer because it's not really gonna work well as a primer. It's going to likely crease throughout the day. If you use your concealer for primer, you just need to make sure you're using the right type of concealer and you're not applying too much. Okay, so we have foundation and concealer on. Let's go ahead and set everything. I'm going to use the E.L.F. Halo Glow Setting Powder. This is a really lovely loose setting powder. It's actually been a little while since I used it. So if I recall, it gives a slight radiance to the skin. So if you are wearing a radiant or a satin finish foundation like we are, this is a great powder to use that won't completely mattify that finish. Okay, and I am just taking the N15 and I'm working this powder into this brush. I love this brush for setting. And I'm gonna start right under the eyes actually. Just kind of press to set that concealer. And then we're going to set the center of the face. And if you notice, I'm just kind of pressing again and then just kind of moving my brush across the face. When you're working with a satin foundation or foundation with a kind of glowy texture, if you are going to go in with a powder like blush or a powder bronzer, which I'm going to do, it's important to set that foundation because what will happen is if the foundation is still a little tacky or wet, when you go in with a blush or a bronzer, it's likely that it's going to stick and you're going to have a difficult time blending it out and it can be very patchy. So make sure that you do set all over with a powder. Now, if I were using a cream blush and a cream bronzer, it'd be different. You could apply that over this before setting with powder and it would blend out and be fine. But we are going to do powder, blush, and bronzer, so we need to make sure we set everything. Okay, you guys, I have a brand new primer infused matte bronzer. I know I've had this product before, but I needed to get another one. The amount of makeup that I purchase and it just gets misplaced because I have makeup at home, I have makeup here at the studio, I have makeup in purses, just everywhere, in bags, and oh, it's just, so I know I've had this somewhere. So I have a lot of duplicates unintentionally, but we're gonna go in with this bronzer. This bronzer is really nice. It's a powder bronzer and it's just got a really beautiful kind of like silky texture. It just blends very nicely. It's also very easy to apply and build up. I'm gonna use the same N15 brush and I'm just gonna kind of load up the side of the brush. Kind of really load it up. Then I'm gonna tap it on my paper towel here just to make sure I don't apply too much. I'm gonna start right here at the hairline. I'm just gonna kind of press the brush into the skin to get the product off the brush and onto the skin. And again, the first place you put your brush is where you're going to deposit the most color. I don't want a bunch of bronzer right here. I really want it out here and I want to softly diffuse it as it gets towards the center of the face. So always start here, see how much you have on your brush and then kind of work your way in. Oh, it's so nice. It's like very smoothing. It looks like poreless. This color, by the way, is very warm. Let me share the shade I got. I might have already said it, but it's Tan O'Clock. It is definitely on the warmer side of bronzers. I really like to sweep the bronzer into the hairline and the temple. So if you notice, I'll like press here, but then I'll sweep it in the hairline. And the reason for that is just I want a more sheer application here in the hairline. I don't want it to be as much payoff. Oh, you guys, one thing I forgot to apply that I wanted to at the start of the application is this E.L.F. Skin Lip Mask. It has hyaluronic acid in it. Let's open this guy up. I do have a little bit of, I don't even know what I have on my lips, something sheer with a little bit of color. Let's go ahead and remove that. Remove this off the lips. Can dry the lips down. Okay, let's apply this. I can't describe what this smells like, but there's a scent to it. Okay, oh, it's like a really beautiful consistency, kind of like a lip balm, thick lip balm. Ooh, wow. This feels real good. Wow, that feels really nice. Okay, so there's no color to it. It is a thicker consistency, like a lip mask. This reminds me of like the Laneige lip mask or like any of those lip masks that you get at Sephora that you apply at night. It's the same thing. It feels the exact same. So we're gonna leave this on the lips while we go and finish the rest of our makeup. Okay, let's move on to blush. I picked up two blushes from E.L.F. They are the same formula, the Primer Infused Matte Blush. but I got the Always Crushing shade and then I got Always Cheeky. I kind of want to try them both, so that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to go back to the N17 brush to apply this because I do want to show you guys how you can use the other side of the brush. So let's open this up. By the way, you guys, I'm going to tag all of these products through YouTube shopping platform. You can shop these products as you're watching the video. If you shop any BK Beauty brushes, I have a discount code for you guys. It's LisaJ10, and that'll get you 10% off anytime that we're not having a sale. So if we're having a sale that has a higher discount, then obviously you'd probably want to use that discount code versus my 10, but you can get anything at 10% off always by using LisaJ10. Okay, so here are the two blushes. Let's start with the lighter one, this peachy shade. And I'm just going to take the brush and kind of tap it in here a couple times. Since this is a lighter shade, I'm not too worried about applying too much. I'm going to smile to kind of have the apple of my cheek pop. And we're just going to press onto the skin. Okay, this color is real light, a little peachy. It's almost reflecting light a little bit and giving a little sheen to the skin, which is nice. I am having to load my brush up a lot though, so, ooh, that's pretty. I think it's just the color. The color's light, so we're gonna go in with the other shade and see what kind of payoff we get. Oh, this is nice. On someone more fair, this definitely would pop more. And I think it's competing with the bronzer a bit, so it's not really like showing as much, but in the mirror I can see it's a really beautiful, very pretty, soft, peachy pink. It's actually leaning a little more pink on my skin than it looks in the pan. It looks a lot more orange. Let's go in with the other shade. This is Always Crushing. We're gonna do the same thing. This is definitely more of a pink kind of punch of color. Oh yeah, that's pretty. And I'm just gently kind of sweeping this shade. Since this does have more pigment, it's more colorful, I really want to sheer that out and not apply too much. That's what I love about this brush is really you can get light sheer color or you can get like a punch of color. It really depends on how the method that you use to apply it. Perfect. Oh, so pretty. Those are nice. I do feel like they're softening the texture on my cheeks, like the pores. I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a blurred action there. This is a good tip too. If you're someone that sometimes over applies blush or you apply it maybe a little too far over and you have to go back and correct it, if you're using this brush or if you're using a different foundation brush, take your foundation brush. Don't add foundation, but just use the brush you use to apply your foundation and kind of bounce it around the area that you want to soften or diminish. In this case, it's actually perfect because it's the same brush, but if I weren't using this brush, you could just take your foundation brush. Okay, you guys, I'm excited about this next part because I have a new product that I'm excited to try. I don't think I've tried this product. This is the E.L.F. Lock It Down Eyeshadow Primer. I don't know that I had a primer from E.L.F. that I had tried, so we're gonna give this one a try. I'm always looking for a good, affordable eyeshadow primer, and what I like about this one, if it performs well, is that it's just a nice sheer translucent shade. It's very thin, so this is a formula that is really great for drier textured eyelids, crepey eyelids, any eyelids that have like skin that's sagging. This is just really nice because you can really sheer it out, kind of spread the skin and just really work it in versus something that is a heavier, thicker cream. So these are really nice, and especially when we are layering products on top of other products. In the case of an eyeshadow primer, you're going to layer eyeshadow on top of that. It's nice to have thin little layers of your products. So if this performs well, I will be very, very happy, and I might have a new favorite drugstore eyeshadow primer. Someone commented on my Instagram that I have a million favorites, and I realized that I do say it's my favorite a lot. I noted your favorites change all the time. I'm like, you guys, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a little generous with that word favorite, but if I say it's a favorite, just know it's really good. It's like one of those people that has 10 best friends. Can they all be the best? I don't know. All right, I'm using my finger to blend this out. I was looking for my N16, but I don't have it on me. That's actually become my new favorite brush to apply like any liquid or cream on the eyelids. Okay, you guys, for eyes, I have a few things here. I've got some eyeshadow crayons, and I've got this little quad palette. I've used this before, and honestly, this is just such a great little mini eyeshadow palette. It is so lovely. You get 4 shades. You get 2 mattes, a really dark, rich brown matte, and a light kind of cream vanilla matte. Then you get these 2 shimmery shades for the lid. I also have these eyeshadow sticks, the No Budge eyeshadow sticks, and I have the shade Rose Gold. Let's give this a swatch. You know I love a good eyeshadow stick. E.L.F's are really good. I've recommended them in the past. And then I have the shade, this is Champagne Crystal. Let me show you what this one looks like. Okay, so they're both on the lighter side. They'd make really great shades for the lid, for the inner corner, just when you want a little bit of highlight and shimmer. So again, you have the shade Rose Gold, and you have the shade Champagne Crystal. Okay, so let's go in first with this eyeshadow palette. I'm gonna use a fluffy crease brush. I'm gonna use the BK Beauty 202, and I'm gonna take the lightest shade, and I'm just gonna kind of apply this underneath the brow and then sweep whatever's left over onto the lid. This is just gonna kind of set that eyeshadow primer and give a little bit of an even canvas. So when I go in to apply the other shades, they blend really well into the skin. It's kind of that same concept that I was talking about, setting your foundation with powder. If you're using a powder bronzer or blush, you don't want it to really stick. You want it to be able to blend out. Same concept. So I'm basically using a light powder to set the eyeshadow primer. You can do the same thing with like your loose setting powder or your pressed setting powder. It doesn't have to be an eyeshadow. Okay, next I'm actually going to start. The only thing I will say is that I wish there was a transition shade in here. To me, there's no transition shade. A transition shade should be a shade that is a few shades darker than your skin tone, but not a lot darker. So this is a lot darker. It should also be matte. It should also be neutral. So unfortunately, there's not a good one here. You've got these two shimmer shades and you got this really rich dark matte. So for that reason, I am actually going to take the bronzer. I just had an idea. We're going to take the bronzer and we're going to apply the bronzer in the crease. This is a really great little hack you can do, when you're lacking that transition shade, just grab your bronzer and we're going to sweep this into the crease. And we're just going to go back and forth, back and forth. This bronzer is more on the kind of like sheer buildable side, so it's going to take a little bit of effort to kind of build it up to get the color that I want. The skin is looking really, really nice, you guys. It looks really good. And I can see that highlight, especially here on the forehead. That highlight is coming through. Okay, now I'm just going to kind of look straight ahead, compare the two sides, make sure that we are pretty even. And then we're going to go into the palette. I'm going to move on to the BK Beauty 203. This is basically like your fingertip, but better. It's a flat little brush that you use the side to pick up eyeshadow. We're going to start with this shade right here, this coppery shade. I'm going to really load the brush up. So as you can see, I have the side of the brush really loaded. This really, really picks up shadow. It is designed to really have excellent pickup and payoff. Now I'm going to apply this on the outer half. I actually want to kind of address a comment that I got on a video recently. It was my video where I was talking about powders and the different types of powders. Someone made a comment saying that if I really knew my stuff when it came to brushes, I would know that natural hair fibers are superior to synthetic fibers when it comes to powder. And so I wanted to kind of talk about that because that is a statement that is not necessarily true. It can be true, but it's not black and white, okay? So I'm gonna explain. So 20 years ago, when I started getting into makeup, a little more than 20 years ago, but let's just say 22 years ago when I got into makeup, natural fiber brushes were definitely superior to synthetic fibers. That was the case. That was 20 years ago, and that was a fact. But things have changed incredibly over the last 20 years, and I want to talk about it. So synthetic fibers have come a very, very long way. The synthetic fibers can actually be shaped, cut, and they can be in different waves that allow them to perform for particular types of products. It also allows the fiber to mimic the performance of a natural hair fiber, but without the downside of natural hair fibers. So, and I'll get into that in a second, but natural hair fibers are known for they're porous, they're very porous. So they have great pickup when it comes to powder product, but they can also absorb a lot of your product. That's why people say they're not great for like liquid or like cream formulas because they absorb a lot. They also shed a lot. Okay, so those are just a couple things to know about natural fibers. With that being said though, you guys, there are some incredibly high performing natural fibers and brushes that are natural that are excellent. They're very, very premium. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that natural fiber, you can't just say that all natural hair fibers are better than synthetics because that's just not the case. There are so many variables that impact the quality of a natural hair, just to name a few, the health of the animal, the climate that the animal was raised in, how much water did that animal intake, what was the diet of that animal, where on the body is that hair coming from? Is it coming from, you know, an area that got a lot of sun, or is it coming from an area that didn't get as much sun? Because that's going to impact the quality of that animal hair fiber. Animal fiber is a lot like wine. There's a difference between a bad wine and a really high-end wine, right? There's a difference. There's so many things that go into producing that. And so not all natural hair is equal. Also, there's a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to natural hair because, you know, and that's why you might find that you might buy a brush, like a natural hair brush, and then 5 years later buy that same brush and it's very, very different because the quality of the animal that they got it from 5 years later might be different than it was. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because I don't think a lot of people know that. I will be honest, I certainly did not know that until I started getting into making brushes and I learned all of these things. And I was like, oh my gosh, that makes sense, right? That's like saying that all human hair is the same, right? Some of us, some hair is really healthy and shiny and lustrous, and some hair is not and weak. And you know, there's just so many things that go into a natural fiber. And the great thing about synthetic fibers is they can be controlled. They are produced when the PO is submitted, and it's controlled, it's consistent. That is just a little bit of info I wanted to share. Okay, next we're gonna go in and, okay, sorry you guys, I just kind of jumped ahead without sharing what I was doing. So I took this copper shade and I packed on the outer half, then I took this really light shade and I put it right in the inner corner. But honestly, as I'm looking on camera, there's a little too much separation. I'm not really loving it. So I'm gonna go back in with the copper shade and just kind of dust it on top of that light shade. You'll still see the lightness and brightness in the inner corner, but it's just gonna blend a little better because that light shade is pretty light. Okay, next let's go in and let's add a little bit of this dark color. And for that task, we are gonna use, where is it? It's my favorite brush for this right now. It's the N13. There we go, it's my favorite. Everything's my favorite. So we're gonna take the N13, I'm gonna take the tip of it, and I'm just gonna get this on the tip. Because this is such a dark product, I don't wanna pick up a ton of it with this whole brush. I want a lot of control. So I just have it on the tip. And I'm just going to start right here in the outer corner because again, that's where I want most of the shadow off my brush and onto my eye. And I'm just going to kind of softly sweep back and forth very lightly. And then I'm going to kind of pull down any excess down to meet my lash line. Perfect. Okay. And we'll go into the other side and kind of build that definition, build that outer V. All right, now it's time to kind of look and compare. I'm going to take my brush, swirl it on this towel in front of me to kind of remove any of that extra darkness. And then I'm just going to work with the dark shadow that we already have on the skin and kind of blend and extend it out. Ooh, I like that, blend and extend. That is my new phrase, blend and extend. So what I'm doing right now is I'm blending and then I'm extending this out a little bit to kind of elongate the eye. Do you think blend and extend would make a cute shirt or coffee cup or something? I think so. So I wanted to give you guys an update because I asked on my community tab a while back about merch, and I was working on some merch, you guys, and I was really excited, but I got the samples. The samples were nice. They were definitely nice and good quality, but when I got back, I was just kind of working with a third-party company, and when I got back, like the prices that they would have to be, that I'd have to sell them at, it just seemed too high for me. I was like, these are nice and they're good quality, but I just couldn't, it just didn't feel like it was like a $50 shirt, you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm kind of pausing on that for now. My goal, I really do want to create merch, but I also want to be able to sell it at a fair price. And I just felt like the prices that they were telling me needed to be to make sense and to work just it seemed too high for me. So I have paused that. Okay, let's move along to eyeliner. Do I have eyeliner? I don't think I have eyeliner, you guys. What we're going to do instead is we're going to use this dark shadow as our eyeliner. Let me go see if I have my favorite brush for that. I'll be right back. Okay, here you guys. I can honestly say though that this is a favorite for this particular task. I have yet to find anything that comes close, you guys. This is our little 208 brush. It is like a tiny little angled brush, and let me tell you why I love this brush. So it's a tiny angle brush. It's very, very fine, which means it's going to give you total control. But it's also not super stiff. Sometimes you find these brushes and they might look like this in size and shape, but they're stiff and they're not comfortable when they glide on that delicate skin of the eye. I love this, and I know that I might be biased because I made this brush, but I think this is the best little wing liner brush there is for this size. Okay, so I'm going to load up this brush, load it up with product. Now I am actually going to just tap off the excess, and let's just hope that I don't get any fallout because I don't want to mess up my concealer. Let's try this. Okay. So I'm just going to go and kind of work on the very, very outer part of my lash line. Okay, I need to do something else. I'm going to actually do something I'm gonna spray it on here. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to wet this brush. You could also just use water. And I wanna really pick up this shadow and almost turn it into more of a like cream. Oh yeah, do you see what that did? Let's see if we can zoom in a little close to see what that did. So that just really gave so much more impact. It kind of turned that powder shadow into a wet product, which then just shows up on the eye a little better. So this brush is really ideal for what I'm doing now, which is creating like a very, very tight line right at the lash line. It's also good if you want to create a little baby wing. Now, I really love to do this with eyeliner. Shadow is not my favorite like formula to do this with. I really prefer to do it with like a kohl eyeliner or a gel eyeliner, but I don't have anything from E.L.F. So we're just having to work with what we got here, you guys, which is the shadow. Do you see what that did? All right, let's do the other side. Oh, so good. Can we just look at this little wing liner? It's just so good. This brush. I'm telling you, if you don't have this brush, this is just the best. I love it, love it, love it. Oh, so, so good. Okay, let's go in and even everything out. And wetting it really makes a difference, you guys. So whether you use a setting spray or you just wet it with water, that's totally fine. Okay, next I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take the 108 brush and we're gonna go back into our Halo Glow setting powder, and we're going to load this brush up and we're just going to sweep away any fallout that we have under the eyes and also just kind of brighten up that area. Beautiful. Oh, okay. All right, you guys. Well, since I promised we would play with these and I have not yet, let's take one of the eyeshadow crayons. We're going to take the rose gold one because that's got a little more color, and we're going to run this on the lower lash line. Now, this is a little lighter than I like to use for eyeliner, so I'm really just playing with this so you guys can see the payoff. This is a nice texture. It's creamy. It glides onto the skin very comfortably. I think this formula in Shadow Sticks is really nice. I haven't tried a bunch from the drugstore. I think I tried the L'Oreal ones. Honestly, I haven't tried a bunch, and I like this one. So for now, I'm going to say that this would be the one I would recommend if you're looking for a shadow stick from the drugstore. And since this color is light, I'm actually going to go back and forth from the outer corner all the way to the inner corner and make that pretty thick. And it's okay. You see what that did? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this palette and we're going to darken just the outer corner. So I'm going to take, what do I have here? What brushes do I have here? I'm going to take the BK Beauty 209 brush. It's just a little tiny shader brush. And we're going to pick up a little bit just on the tip of this. And we're just going to softly kind of apply this right here on top of that shadow crayon. That shadow crayon does a couple things for us right now. What it's doing is it's something creamy. So it's giving this eyeshadow something to adhere to, which is nice. It's going to create less fallout and mess. And it's also kind of softening the look of this shadow. This shadow is dark and matte, you guys, so you got to be careful with it. So having that rose gold shimmer down first is just going to soften the look of this when I apply it on the eye. So instead of having a harsh matte shadow that's dark, it's going to just soften it and make it a little easier to work with. Very pretty. I'm pretty shiny. I'm a little shinier than I normally like to be, but that's okay. It's all for the sake of trying new things and seeing what we like and maybe what we don't. I love the eyes. The eyes look good, huh? Okay, let's move along to mascara. All right, I have 3 of these mascaras. I love this formula. This is the Lash and Roll mascara from E.L.F. And I had 3 of them in my little container because honestly, I'm not sure which, like, I don't know how old these are. These might be 2 years old. So I thought I'd grab them all to see. The beauty of this formula is it actually doesn't get real messy. Like, I love the wand. There's a slight little curve. Let's see, there you go. There's a slight little curve to the wand. So that allows you to really help lift and curl the lash. I don't have my lash curler here, darn. It'll really help. If you do curl your lashes, it'll help and like reinforce that curl and just really help you pull and extend the mascara wand through the lashes. I also like how little the teeth are. It really allows you to separate and get every lash. And I like that this is not messy. So I'm going to just close the eye and kind of rest it, and then I'm going to wiggle back and forth, back and forth. This way we're getting off as much mascara as we can from the wand onto the lashes, and then we'll extend. The great thing about this wand too is you're not going to have a big gunk of product on it, so you're not really going to apply too much. This is a really lovely lengthening mascara. Is this a dupe for the Benefit? What is it, the Lash Roller? Is that what it's called? I think it is. I think it's a dupe for that. So while I'm applying mascara, I just want to talk to you guys about this week that I'm in right now. This video will go up probably in a week or 2 from now, but right now I'm filming this. We just came off of our 5th anniversary sale, you guys, for BK Beauty, and I just feel so grateful for where we're at right now. It feels like a pinch me moment. The last week we have had so many things to celebrate, you guys, so many things. It's kind of at the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, seriously? Like, you know, we're nominated right now for a Beauty Independent Beacon Award. And we are next to Patrick Ta, Glow Recipe, Bubble, Vacation. Like, we are next to incredible, amazing, massive brands. And then there's us, you know? And I'm just like, and we're nominated for Best Brand. They have a bunch of different categories for the Beacon Awards, and we're up for Best Brand. And I just can't, I just am like, oh, like I don't even have words, honestly. It's just incredibly exciting, and I just don't feel like it's real, you know? I don't want to not take credit for this because it has been a lot of hard work over the last 5 years, and we have an amazing team, and I do think that I'm trying to be in this stage of life where I'm accepting the blessings and the abundance in my life, and I'm accepting of it, and I'm not like feeling like I don't deserve it or don't earn it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like most of my life, I'm just rambling now, but I feel like for a lot of my life I was in that state where I didn't feel worthy of it, and it's just anyway, I'm going down the wrong going in the wrong direction here. I just want to tell you guys that I am incredibly grateful for you, and I know I say that a lot, and I hope that you feel it. I hope that you really feel it, because I am just so grateful for you guys. On top of that, I had an event at the local Nordstrom here a few weeks ago, and that was amazing. I got to meet some local BK Beauty customers and local YouTube subscribers. And that was incredible because I don't get to do that enough, you know? And when I do, it's just like I'm so reminded that there are actually people on the other end of this video that are watching this, that I'm having a connection with. I'm sitting in a room by myself right now filming, talking to a camera. And after that event in Nordstrom, it just made me think to myself, like, I want to do more of this. I want to do more opportunities where I can meet you guys and I can really focus on building and nurturing this community that I have through you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I am feeling like I'm on cloud 9 right now, and I just can't express how much how grateful I am for you. So thank you so much. All right, you guys, the mascara is going to get out of hand if I don't stop talking. All right, so this mascara has had its better day. I think this particular one is a little old because this mascara has definitely looked better than this on me before, but I think this particular one needs to be tossed. In fact, we're going to toss this one right here. All right, shall we try to do another one? Let me do one more just to see if I can make this look a little better. This mascara is great at lengthening and separating. It'll give some volume, but it's really better. It's like really strong in the lengthening department. It's not going to give you that full fluffy lash that you get from like the Bobbi Brown Smoky Lash Mascara that I'm always talking about. But there does come a point where you just have to stop because too much is not a good look, and I'm starting to get there. But I think I don't think I got there quite yet. Okay, we are almost done, you guys. Let's move on to lips. Okay, we are almost done, you guys. We're to lips. If you're still here, drop me a little comment down below, and thank you for being here so long. I know this one's gonna be a long one. All right, so the lip mask is still on and it feels amazing. I am gonna blot it off just because I'm gonna use one of E.L.F's lip liners, and when you have a lot of lip balm on the lips or like a glossy, balmy product, it's very difficult for the lip liner to adhere to the skin and actually create some color and shape. So for that reason, we are gonna remove it. I believe it or not, I don't know that I have an E.L.F lip liner. This might be the first one. This is the Cream Nude Lip Liner, and it is a good old classic wooden lip pencil. Ooh, wow, I am impressed with that. I did not expect that to have such creamy payoff. Very pigmented, really nice payoff. I'm excited. Okay, this formula is fantastic. Beautifully pigmented, very like creamy. It is nice. This is a nice color. I want a slightly darker color though. This is nice. I just want a little bit more, like a little more depth to it. It's good though. It's good. Okay, let's go on to lip color. I have a few options here. Okay, I've got this Pout Lip Plumping Pen in Just Peachy. And then what shade is this? Is it the same shade? I got one in Just Peachy, and then I have one here that's already open. And then I have a gloss that I want to play with. I want to play with this gloss, so we're going to just do them all. Are these the same? No, okay. So I have Just Peachy, which is pretty light. I want more color though. We're going to go with this one. I don't know what shade this is. Pinky Out or Pink Out, I think. All right, let's apply this. This is like one of those, oh yeah, this is like one of those, like the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lips. Now, these are very, very balmy and glossy and thick, and I find that most of the formulas, when they warm up to the skin, if you put too much pressure, you're gonna get chunks of this on your lip, so I actually just like to kind of blot it on my lip. Ooh, this is really Good. Wow. Okay, this combo is good. Really good. Wow, I love this. I love this. This is so pretty. This combo is perfect. Okay, I'm definitely going to be ordering more of these lip pencils and more of these. So, so good. I almost don't want to ruin this by, or change it. I shouldn't say ruin, but I don't want to change it. But I do want to try this gloss. This is the Lip Plumping Gloss from E.L.F. And I have the shade Mauve Lady. I don't know that I've used one of these from them before. Okay, let me take off the sticker. Okay, so I'm getting the sticker off. Let's apply this. This is the color. Looks really pretty, really mauve-y. It's a lip plumping gloss, which caught my attention. Is there a scent to this? No scent really. Ooh, I love the color. Look at that color before I even put on my lips. Look at that. So pretty. This particular one has a little bit of shimmer, but it's super refined. You really have to look for it to see it. It's not glittery at all. But when you're working with lip glosses that are this refined but there is some pearlescence to them, or glitter, I shouldn't say glitter, glitter's the wrong word, but really refined shimmer, it is going to reflect light and just enhance that plumping effect. It just makes everything look more full. Ooh, okay. So it didn't actually change the color of this too much, which is nice. Ooh, all three I love. Okay, nice. So not a big scent to it. It is not super thick, but it's definitely more of a tacky lip gloss formula. High shine, really beautiful. I love it. So good. So this is the finished look. I love the way that it came out. I really enjoyed all the products that I applied today. Most of them I had used in the past. Some of them were brand new. I think if I had to say what products really stood out to me today, I would say definitely this lip combo. The pencil, the first lip product that I applied, and then the gloss even on top of that. Really, really nice standout products. But yeah, everything I really enjoyed. I'm gonna link everything and include the colors and the shades that I used in the description box. I'm also gonna tag them through YouTube Shopping so you guys can shop there easily. Let me know what your questions are. Let me know what brand you wanna see a full face of next, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.